Okay, let's make another video. Hasn't been too long since what the fuck? So after watching The Batman with the boys, we all agreed on two things. One was that The Batman was a really good movie, maybe the best Batman film ever put to cinematic film. No real question in that. I say top three, but I won't disclose what the other two are just yet. But also another thing, that it's a bit long. So I was just sort of thinking about it, maybe the movie's a bit too long. So I went on to the YouTube polls that I sometimes do. Check them out if you haven't already. And I saw, showered to the people, like 20 people. Do you think the Batman was a bit too long? And resoundingly, the answer was no. Mostly no. There were a few people saying yes, which is fair enough. But yeah, a lot of people don't think the Batman is indeed too long of a movie. So that's kind of led me to make this video. Is the Batman too long? Now obviously I've only seen the film once, so I can't exactly fully comment on the matter, because I think once I've watched it a second time, this opinion will become more apparent. However, I feel like I can still voice my opinion quite well. And what do I think? Well, I think that the Batman is maybe 10 or 20 minutes too long. It's a very long movie, and obviously if you're going to tell like a mystery movie, I think the similar thing would be like in Denis Villeneuve's Prisoners. That's also another mystery driven movie, also starring Paul Dano, which is like quite a long, hefty movie. But Prisoners didn't feel as sort of slow in parts as the Batman did. That's what I'm going to be getting at. Whereas, why does the Batman feel a little bit sort of like dragging, a little bit slower, and a little bit more like takes its time, a little bit more than say like Prisoners or something like a long movie like The Hateful Eight does, where you don't really feel that sort of length as much as you do the Batman. Now obviously my scenario, I was watching it at like 11 o'clock at night in a packed cinema, so maybe I was just feeling a bit tired, but the point still stands that isn't an opinion on the Batman, that it's a little bit too long. So let's just get into how it could be a little bit improved, on how to make it like a little bit of a shorter film. So taking a look at what scenes and what parts of the movie in particular could be cut off, I don't really have a particular answer for that, because I feel like the whole movie, well, except for the third act, which I'll get to that in a minute, but the whole movie has like quite a lot of impact. And I feel like if we were gonna cut certain parts out, I can't really think of one scene in particular that I cut out, because they each have like a meaning to them. So what I reckon they should have done is they should have maybe cut a few parts of each scene. The scene where they find the whole rat contraption and they see the linings and little written text inside the rat trap, I feel like that could have been cut down a little bit. And also there were times where the Batman was kind of just standing there. I know that's sort of to emulate him sort of working out the mystery a little bit. There were also some parts where it dived a little bit too much, I dare say, into the sort of Falcone part of the story. Now I know that that's a key part of the story, especially like compared to the Riddler part, but going into the movie you kind of want to see more of the Riddler, and I feel like in certain parts of the movie you kind of forget that the Riddler's a presence, and I know the whole reason that they're going after Falcone and Penguin is because of the Riddler story, but sometimes you kind of dip into forgetting about that and it kind of lingers a little bit too long. And then that kind of leads into the third act, which I enjoyed the third act a lot. However, I don't think that they were, and now this very well could change when I see the movie again, but I feel like the impact that they were going for with the third act didn't really hit me as hard. Now maybe that's just me expecting something else and being a little bit disappointed, which, thinking about it, I'm not really that disappointed about it. They wanted the final part to hit harder than it actually did, because I feel like the whole part of Batman actually finding out that there's one final thing and that the whole Gotham is just going to get flooded, that was probably the highlight of the third act. But then after that, it kind of goes a little bit more downwards, and you kind of start to lose the plot a little bit, because technically the Riddler won, but then also all Batman needed to do was, you know, take out a few thugs and then cut a wire and then go down and help people, which I don't know if I missed something with the cutting of the wire, but I feel like that's what I mean when they said that they made that scene, especially with the music and the slow-mo, they made it seem a lot bigger than it actually was. Like they needed some sort of final punch to end the story, but they'd already wasted their big punch on the flooding, and so they decided to do that. But what I did like afterwards was that slow scene of Batman actually saving people. That kind of makes it all okay, in my opinion, because it's sort of emphasis on, yeah, it's a superhero movie, and superheroes are supposed to save people, and you know, they did a really good job of underlining that throughout the entire movie, where Batman is supposed to help people. And you know, we see him at the start of the movie helping a guy who's getting attacked off the train, and yeah, I just really like that. I thought that was a very nice inclusion. But ultimately, this movie is extremely hard to nitpick in these sort of areas, because it's just a very well put together, very good movie. And I feel like because it's the only gripe, probably the only gripe that I can think about with this movie, is why I'm having such a struggle trying to explain it, because this movie is extremely well put together and extremely well acted, and the cinematography is just amazing. And yeah, it's just a very hard movie to hate on, especially now. And who knows, maybe on my second or third viewing I might start to see more plot holes and more contrivances and more just bad things about the movie. And when I see that movie for the second or third time, I might be making another video on it, and I also might make another video comparing this movie to maybe Prisoners or something like The Hateful Eight, which are both very long movies, but I also feel like they're movies that succeed where the Batman failed in, you know, not boring the audience per se, but just keeping the audience fully engaged on the edge of their seat for that amount of time, because I feel like the Batman kind of failed a little bit in that respect, but it's barely even failing. Like, to be honest, it's an amazing ride. I'd definitely go see it if you haven't. This video is more of a spit take sort of thing, just to sort of get the opinion out there, and to see if maybe you guys agree. Now that you've heard this opinion, do you still think that the Batman's perfectly paced, or should the Batman be a tad bit shorter? Leave your opinions in the comments below, and thanks for watching this very shortish Batman video. Thanks for watching.